mijn kop. Ik via dekker moest ziek kleine paard een top. Geef mir geen zacht lid, die drop.
Welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and this week we have another, I'm really experimenting with this, and I love all your feedback, so thank you all. This week, I'm going to do a little of my own shit in the beginning, which I love doing, and I know that you do too, most of you, I guess. I mean, a lot of people have written to me, I love you. But we also have, after my shows at 509059, where I'm doing Yes, I Can Say That, it's only there for 2 more weeks till April 16. I have been doing talkbacks, and I had a talkback with Sandra Bernhard, and we recorded it, and that is going to be the second half of this episode. We also had a talkback with BD Wong, and it didn't record because I suck. So that's a fucking major Kill Me Now moment. But hopefully I can get him on the podcast. But it was a fun night because Joy Behar was in the audience, and Renee Taylor, Jeannie Berlin, Elaine May, and Joy was talking and Renee was talking, and it was so fun. So I'm sorry you missed it, but shit, I just fucking want to kill myself. I thought I pressed the thing. I thought I pressed it, and I saw the microphone, like the levels going up and down. And then I went to turn it off after we were done, and it was already off. So fuck, shit, ass. It's also because I wear contacts in the show, and I can't see up close. So I didn't have glasses on. I didn't have reading glasses on. The whole thing just fucking blows. But anyway, here we are. I just want to say a few things, okay? Because today I'm like, well, first of all, my New York Times review came out, and I don't read the reviews, but I heard it's good. I just want to be a critic's pick once in my life. I mean, they all write wonderful things, and then I'm not a critic's pick. Like, what the fuck else? This is such an important show. Anyway, so that's one thing. But listen. First of all, let's start with the absolutely horrible and disgusting and piece of shit interview of Marjorie Taylor Cunt. Okay? Let's start with that. Okay? First of all, 60 Minutes, like, really? You are going to give... That's the person you're going to highlight and get and validate. That's a validating interview, being on such a, a show that is known for its incredible journalism. I mean, they've had other shitty people on, but she's an insurrectionist. She's a liar. She's dumb. She's fucking... I hate her so... I can't even tell you how much I fucking hate that bitch. And, she wants a Christian nation. I'm not anti-Semitic. And like Leslie Stahl, by the way, you roll your eyes. That's your way of punching back or speaking truth. Or calling her out on her shit is like, are you going to take any of the things? Are you going to say all the things that I said when I was 12 and when I was 13? No, we're going to do it while you're in a position of power, a legislator, and you're saying shit and calling people pedophiles when you're full of shit and you were part of the insurrection and you're anti-gay and you're anti-Semitic and you're racist and you're dumb and you walk around like, on your fucking $11 million stupid fucking house, you fucking trash piece of shit. I fucking hate her. Hate her. You're yelling at the president, you classless scum. Yells at the president during his State of the Union address. I just, like, what the fuck? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? And I feel like Leslie Stahl, probably thinks, well, she's really making headlines. And, she's a person who, it's all about ratings, and it's all about like, we're going to be controversial. That's not controversial. That's fucking stupid. That's highlighting a dangerous person who doesn't believe in democracy, who is against trans kids. Like, shut your fucking ignorant piece of shit, trash, dumb, what's the last fucking book you read, bitch, mouth. Okay? Ugh. Okay, that's number one. I could go on and on. Okay. Number 2. I don't need to see Trump's fucking plane take. Oh, he got in the car. He's now driving to the airport. He's not OJ, okay? He's not OJ, like, fleeing from the police, okay? Where there's an exciting end and you're like, what the fuck is gonna. Who cares? The fat orange fuck has to come to New York because he's a fucking scumbag, liar, felon, predator, piece of shit. So we have to. That's news? That's news? I can't. I'm really starting to get. It's starting to really. I don't know if you could tell I don't know if you can tell from my response, but I mean, what the fuck? This country, I can't. Okay, did you watch the WNBA? Not the I can't believe I said that. The women's finals. Okay, look. You know, women or the shit that happens in men's sports and they pick on leave them alone. That's how girls fight. Like, leave us alone. Ugh. But it was exciting. You know, I wish people watched more women's basketball because it really is a team sport. You know, like it is team. It's not like me. And I like that there was trash talk. You know, let me tell you something. When, you know, Ben plays college basketball, right? You know, I can tell when they're trash talking on the court. Now, I have gotten in trouble at some of the games. I've told the fans to shut up because they're just so fucking mean. Like, it really annoys me. Like, they'll Google, you know, they'll look up the person and start, like, finding shit out about them and yell nasty shit. And Ben's like, you know, it's part of the game. And I'm like, ugh, it's just bullying. It's like bullying. And you're getting bullied by people who can't fucking compete against you. They're just onlookers. They're people who are just fucking bully assholes who can't have no skill at what you do. Anyway, so I always ask Ben what they're, you know, were they trash talking? And he's like, yeah, they were trash talking. And it doesn't even bother him. It makes him like want to it makes him want to play better and really, and he does. He gets riled up and plays better. But I don't understand that whole. I don't get it. I'm just so old. I realize I'm old fashioned. I'm old fashioned. So that's it. But I'm really aggravated. Like, I'm so aggravated about that march. And I wasn't going to watch it, but I was like, you know what? I kind of have to because I'm a comedian. And her nose. Can we talk about her fucking nose? Like. What? Did someone punch her in the top of her? It's like the top part of her nose is going to one side. I hate her. I hate everything about her. I hate the way she walks. I hate the way she tries to act like she's a legitimate, like, person who deserves to be where she is. And I hate that Leslie fuckhead Stahl. Oh, I can't. It's aggravating me. But, yeah, so that's that. So tomorrow, Orange Fuckface is here, and my theater is right by Trump Tower, where, by the way, every time I pass Trump Tower, I give it the finger. Every time people just stare at me, and I just give it the finger because I fucking hate him so much. And Marjorie Taylor Cunt said she's coming here to protest. No one wants you here. Everyone fucking hates you. And then she's, you know, I'm no fan of, you know, the mayor of New York right now. I don't think he's doing a fantastic job, but you don't get to talk about him. Talk about what you know, okay? Talk about macaroni and fucking cheese and working out and she works out and she does CrossFit. Who cares? She's dumb. She should do Cross Book, where you read a fucking book about someone else's life or struggles, you fucking asshole. Anyway, so she's coming here. And the theater is right by Trump Tower, so I'm a little worried, but, you know, I kind of look forward to that sort of... confrontation. But I think she's going to be down by the courthouse acting like, and I hope everyone just is like, oh, shut the fuck up, you scum. Like she has any power here. And he's just a disgusting piece of shit. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard being here and that fucking, like, why is he held to a different standard than everyone else? And he's just, ugh. Plus, can I just say something? Stop walking down, I know I said this last time, but stop walking down the street looking at your phone. I was in a car. There was a guy walking across the street in the middle of the street, just staring at his phone, walking really slowly. Like, you're going to get fucking killed. Like, look, I can't stand it. Oh, I'm so aggravated today. All right, I'm sorry about that. But I did want to say, so I'm going to talk to you after this great interview with Sandra Bernhard. We talked about a lot of different stuff because, Sandra Bernhard was a big influence on me, and she really started out in the clubs, but she expanded and she was fearless, and she had, what a life she's had. So it was a really interesting talk we had, and we took questions from the audience, and I hope the audio is okay. But so I hope you enjoy that. And I really, if you're in town, we only have 2 more weeks of this show at 59 theaters. So I would love for you to see it. And what else did I want to tell you? I don't know. Why don't you sit back, relax, enjoy my interview, and I'll talk to you right after it's over.
What, are you trying to record this and sell it somewhere?
No, I'm putting it on my podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking take money from you.
Oh.
I wish I had money just to throw at you.
Oh, please. I wish I had more than one bathroom. So, I mean, Elise is here, and all she wants you to do is sing for us. But, it's about me, too. But,
well, you know what? Billy Stritch is here.
No,
Billy,
you're here!
if we could pull up a piano, we could do a couple of numbers.
Billy!
Billy Stritch is in the
Oh, my God, I have celebrity friends.
Honey, this is a big night. A big night.
Sandy, I came up in the mainstream clubs. You were one of, I met Mitzi after you. You were one of the first big stars at the Comedy Store. Yes, you were.
There were a lot of women there before me. A lot of women like Elaine Boozler and other people.
Yeah.
And when I came along, I was like, I'm not doing self-deprecating material.
Right.
Yeah, I loved all of these ladies. We all grew up with them.
Right.
And they were wonderful. But I was like, this is post-feminist. We've just come through the revolution, Roe v. Wade. You don't have to worry about abortion care ever again. What? Oh, I didn't. I just heard about it.
Yeah, it just happened.
And so I was like, I was probably one of the first women who got up, who didn't look like everybody else, but felt great and sexy and like groovy and fashion forward and all the things that women had never allowed themselves to feel. And I sang in my show, and everybody was like, freaked out and confused. But I powered through. I just, like you, I got up every night. I worked in Beverly Hills as a manicurist to support myself.
Did you speak Korean at all during?
No, sweetie, no. First of all, this was the 70s.
Oh, right.
When women came to get their hair done, and they'd sit under the dryer.
Oh, yes.
And you do their nails, and I would I'd kind of work in my material, and they thought I was adorable.
Yeah. Of course.
And it was chic. In fact, it was more like the shampoo era, like Lauren Beatty.
Right.
It was sexy. It was fun. It was Beverly Hills before Beverly Hills Housewives. And it was a great time.
You did sing always, but so did Toadie. There's so many of them sang, like Sophie Tucker.
Yeah.
A lot of them came from vaudeville, and they were funny in between the songs, like Rusty Warren, another one. Knockers Up. That Rusty Warren could not get on television. She never cursed. She never said a curse word, but she talked about women enjoying sex, and she couldn't get on TV, but she would sell out the rooms, and women will come from all over to hear her talk.
Amazing.
It's interesting because you were such an icon to me, and now we're friends. But I remember thinking the fuck you confidence, I was always like, okay, I got to perfect this joke. And and you always had this air of, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. And it was so intoxicating to watch.
Well, because I was tired of women getting knocked around and watching men night after night when I was at the comedy clubs, just seeing what they did. And I was just like, they're not even funny. They're not cute.
God.
They're not sexy. They're not clean.
Right.
They're disgusting. They stink.
I know. I said, like that whole stupid joke I have in the show about the girlfriend's bloody vagina. That's shit we had to follow. We had to follow guys saying the most horrible things about women.
But I was also lucky, remember, because Paul Mooney discovered me the first night I got up to perform at the Ye Little Club in Beverly Hills. And he took me under his wing. And he was a chic, gorgeous, hysterical. Wrote
I loved
for
him.
Richard Pryor.
He was the genius behind Richard, yeah.
Richard, Eddie Murphy, many of them. Dave Chappelle. He's written comedy for you, and sadly he's not with us anymore.
Oh my God, I loved him so much.
So he was my mentor, and he was my protector. He was my brother, my father. Fabulous story, or not a fabulous story, but a shocking story. I was at the Comedy Store one night, and some managers wanted to, sign me. And they took me aside and they said, lose the Schwarzer. And I said, I'm not losing the Schwarzer, and fuck you. And I walked
Schwarzer
away.
is a Yiddish word meaning black.
For black people, but it's slightly derogatory.
It's slightly derogatory. I mean, my mother would say it thinking it because it's black for German. So I'm German for black, and she'd be like, "No, I don't mean it." And like, "Mom."
So I went over to Mooney, and I told Mooney, and we were just like, "You're out of here," I mean, it was just so disgusting. But those were those times.
When I got to LA, Mitzi put me in the belly room every Friday at 8, and I really developed like so much material in the belly room.
Yeah.
But you were in the belly room. Were you in the belly room when it was really just strictly for women?
Yeah, I was in the belly room. I think it started around 77, 78. And Lotus Weinstock, who was my other Jewish soul sister angel who took care of me. We co-hosted the nights, and we get up and we'd do our insane act, and we'd make up songs because she played the piano. And it was really, really fun. People would come up, and it was like it was a novelty,
right?
To sit, Lois Bromfield,
yes,
Diane Nichols, just tons and tons of fun people back then. And it was a place that I really got my sea legs.
I loved that room. But did you also work in the main room and the original room?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I honestly, once I got into the belly room, it was hard for me to go back down to those rooms because I knew I'd be bookended by men, and it would be intimidating.
Right.
So as soon as I could, and I kind of I felt like I developed enough. And then I did The King of Comedy.
The King of Comedy, brilliant.
No, thank you.
Brilliant.
It's not even about that. It's just that once I got that, that sort of liberty of having,
a credit, like a
credit,
movie story,
then I could start going to, I performed at rock and roll clubs. I went on the road. I did colleges. So I never really went back to the comedy world again because it was just too brutal for me.
It's really, I know you tell me that all the time. You're like, why are you going out?
And I love that you still do it. But I mean, when I get up at a comedy club, I just feel like I get that initial feeling like I did when I was 19.
It's so many people who I know who've moved on from doing stand-up feel the same exact way. It's just like PTSD.
I still do it, but I just don't. Not
in the clubs.
I don't feel the need to go to a club where I know it's gonna. Especially now, it would feel so foreign to me because comedy is just a totally different animal now. As you spent an hour and a half explaining. Right.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself, you can process, and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it and you sit there and you wait. And then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
So you do King of Comedy, but then you start doing these really incredible solo shows.
Right.
And you develop this cult following. Did you think of this like, I'm going to make these stage shows? I mean, where did you get the idea to start this whole?
To be honest with you, I started collaborating with a conceptual artist named John Boscovich, who was he was way, way out there and really brilliant. And he thought he'd want to do this with me. So we started writing my show Without You I'm Nothing with my friend Mitch Kaplan.
I love Mitch Kaplan. Yeah.
Thank you. Who's still my musical director, and we developed the whole show in his living room and at his apartment in Hollywood, and we picked songs. We built a material around songs, and we'd build material and put songs in, and that's how it all came together. It was sort of it was just kismet and the right time at the right place, and I mean, it wasn't like I was thinking, oh, this is going to really just be the most outrageous, controversial, fun thing.
Right.
I was doing it because it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Were you surprised at how successful it was?
Yeah.
You were? Wow.
Yeah, I was, because it was like throwing the dice. You just never know.
When you got on Roseanne and played a gay character, which was
bisexual.
Okay, bisexual.
I know, but I like to differentiate that because it was a funny premise. It was like I was married to to Arnie, played by Tom Arnold, and I was so disgusted by him that I ran into the arms of Morgan Fairchild. So I mean, that's
a realistic scenario.
Well, it was funny because once the kind of one note joke ended with me being married to Tom Arnold, Roseanne said, what can we do to keep you on the show? And then we started spitballing, and she said, we should make you, become gay. And I said, it's really a funny idea. And of course, the rest is history. But what I loved about it wasn't beating people over the head.
Right.
It wasn't overtly political. It was just inherently political,
right.
by the dent of how it evolved.
And again, it's like the audience already knew you. They already liked you.
Right.
So, and they were invested in you.
Yeah.
So whatever you did, they were going to be like, oh, okay.
Go along for the ride.
Yeah. What year was that?
I think I started on the show around 89 or 90.
And then did you get any sort of blowback no.
No. I never paid attention. You know what I mean? It was
yeah, me neither. Yeah.
My sexuality, how I toyed with it, and because I'd go on with Letterman and I would flirt with him.
I love your
and I had a huge crush on David Letterman in real life. I mean, it was forget it. You couldn't get near David because he was so freaked out all the time. But it played out so beautifully in that context. So people were always like, what's up with her? I think people were confused by me, which is great because
that's
then
perfect.
It keeps people
Keeps
guessing.
on their toes, yeah. So how many Letterman appearances did you make?
30.
30. You were fucking awesome on Letterman. And
it was so fun.
Took him so out of his comfort zone.
God, I love doing it.
Why do you think he allowed you to do that? Because he didn't allow a lot of women to...
I think we just got into that, slipstream, and he could be a little mean. It didn't, it didn't always register on camera, but there were moments in some of the appearances where he was a little bit pokey and mean,
right.
And I had to just kind of pull myself back from reacting. So then it got me deeper into our little funny, repartee. Thank you.
There's something I really want to talk about, and that is I find it, as I age, it's audiences are different. It's different. It's you know, like, do you feel the ageism in this business? Or
I think I'm sort of at the precipice of it. You know, I mean, there are certain venues, like when I perform at Joe's Pub, I don't feel it there.
Right, of course.
You know, when I'm in certain markets or cities that people come, and I don't know, it's kind of natural evolution, you know, but also, like, I don't really relate to what's going on in the world,
Right.
and how people get to their fame now, you know, whether it's TikTok or, you know, influencers or these.
I can't with the influencers.
I know, and it's
What does that mean? I'm an like, you get a free car for like showing your tits.
It just
on
means that you're
Instagram.
willing to, like, make a fool of yourself,
Right.
and you're you know, and you're uneducated and unrealized as a person. So I just stick with what, you know, I keep going, and I'm going to keep going, and until I'm hoping and praying our show gets picked up.
We wrote a show together.
We're still in the process of working on our show.
It's great. It's so good. It's what before we take questions from the audience, I just want to, how do you feel about this PC shit? Like, you know, it's so infuriating for me that, you know, these people who we're allies of are getting mad at us.
No.
But do you get any of that or no? I mean,
No.
your radio show's great.
No, I don't get any of that, because you know what? I've just cut off certain parts of my you know, synapses.
Right.
I just shut the shit down. I don't talk today how I would have talked 10, 20, 30 years ago. I just don't.
Right.
It's not worth it to me. I'm not going to put myself
And the
out
world
there.
has changed.
And I don't care. I don't want to get
Right.
attacked by the right. I don't want to get attacked by the left. You either see me and you know what I have stood
Right.
for, or you don't. But I'm not fighting anybody's battles in that way anymore.
Right.
And I'm not going to get into the trenches over things that don't affect me or I
Right.
don't understand.
Right. I totally get
Okay,
that.
so
yeah.
I mean, I can talk from being a woman, from you know, my sexuality, from being
Jew.
a mother, from being Jewish, but there are certain things I won't
Right.
attempt to talk about any longer.
Right.
So I'm done.
I love that. I love that. Can we take some questions?
Sure.
Sandra, your I Never Meant to Hurt You is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on film.
Oh, thank you.
Streisand as an influence to you.
I Never Meant to Hurt You is actually a Laura Nyro song. And she's both Judy and I are hugely in love with Laura Nyro.
Laura Nyro.
And are you talking about when I did it in Without You I'm Nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that was sort of based on somebody I had dated, some kook. So, like, I kind of went in character. She was like some neurotic art writer. And I just wove that song into it. And it's a beautiful song. But thank you.
Laura
Thank you.
Nyro, if you don't know her,
You must get to know her.
You have to know her.
immediately.
Oh, Matt, hi.
So I'm really curious about, did this show grow out of the book, or did you sort of create them on parallel tracks, or how did it come about?
No, the book came out, and then Primary Stages said, we would like to develop a show with you. And I said, well, this is what I spend all my time. Like, this is what I would really like the show to be about. And I thought it would be easier since it was a book, but it wasn't because I had to make it personal. And BD, who's such an amazing director, I can't even tell you. He is such an amazing director. He took me out of my comfort zone. He made me go and talk about all the shit that I don't want to talk about. Eddie Sarfati really helped to, put things down in a succinct way. And, the three of us really worked on the script during the rehearsals too, and cut the fat. The first preview is a completely different show than this preview. I mean, Elisa could tell you that, but I found it to be so important, and I wanted to make it a play. I didn't want it to be stand up, and I didn't want it to be a TED Talk. I wanted it to be something that people were invested in, and I want it to be a call to action. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening in this country.
I just wanted to ask, first off, love both of you to death, and since Judith's roommate had a baby, that was like very, very, very important in my formative years as a career man. But I was just curious, as for both of you, when you started out in this like insane and amazing industry, did you ever think you would become such queer icons or something?
No. I mean, when I started in the 70s, I guess maybe I did, because I was hanging out almost every single night at Studio One in LA, dancing with all the leather queens. And I mean, I guess I was an early adapter to that, scene. And so, yeah, but I didn't think of it like consciously. I didn't think, I'm going to be like a gay, I'm going to be like Cher. I mean, yeah. So no, not consciously, but I loved the scene, I mean, I went to the Rocky Horror Show when it was on up on Sunset, the summer of '74, where I met all my gay friends from the San Gabriel Valley. So I was like getting entrenched in that scene immediately upon my arrival in LA. So I guess it was a natural progression, but I don't think anybody at 18 or 19 back then, especially, would think of it, because there was no like you weren't looking on like TikTok or Instagram and seeing the reaction. You were just like in it. You were living it, and it was just happening and unfolding. History was unfolding, and now history doesn't unfold like that anymore. It's compressed, and it's unimaginative, and it's just like kind of heartbreaking. So I'm just so glad that I got to experience that. When it was still very like raw and real.
Yeah. I had no idea until, I was working these comedy clubs, and I just wanted to be a great comic, and I knew I couldn't not talk about being a gay parent. Like, I couldn't not do that. And now it's people your age who come up to me and are like, I was living here and I saw you and you were talking about your family. And I thought, I can have who was this woman who's just not, I just was like, I can't live with myself if I don't tell the truth. Like, Elisa's always like, she always was jealous that I was going to cheat on her in the beginning. And all my friends were like, oh, please, she couldn't fucking lie or cheat, and I just couldn't do it. I thought it was really, really important. And I see now that it is, and it was. And thank you. It makes me, because it's true. People were waiting for me after my shows, and I was like, I just was trying to make you laugh. I didn't realize this was, going to heal you. And you realize the impact you have just from being fully, I mean, she had a huge impact on me,
Thank you, honey.
Oh, darling.
The question is, you kind of skewered Jerry Lewis in the show, and Sandra, you worked with him. I was kind of curious what your experience was.
Well, I was like, of course, obsessed with him. I'm just observing him on the set. But, he was pompous and self-important and, wanted to direct all the scenes and, and he was very, very rude to me many times. But I was like, who fucking cares? He reminded me of my father, whose name is whose name is also Jerry. So I was used to that. I was used to men just being like, of that generation, being just like, like bossing around. By the way, did you know that I did the telethon?
You did not.
Yeah, the summer that I did King of Comedy. It was in September, so I went out to Vegas. And he put me on at 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
And my parents came up to Vegas and we went backstage and they brought like a trailer backstage and, at the big hotel. And he came out and he was drinking a milkshake. He goes, I drink milkshakes all day long to give me the energy. I was like, oh, you're such a dipshit. So there I was with my dad, my mom, Jerry Lewis at 3 a.m. I mean, were your parents like thrilled to meet him? I guess they were. I don't remember,
I just couldn't understand, like, I watched him as a kid, and when he would lip sync and do those crazy dances, and I'm like, this guy is so fucking talented. And then you find out he's and then I hear him say that shit at the Aspen Comedy Festival, and I'm like, why?
I don't even care. It's like he used women like Stella Stevens was his like sidekick.
Right.
You know what I mean? He wanted like a sexy kind of woman who just stood there and laughed at him. None of this shit offends me because you have to put it into context.
Right, but I never thought someone who could behave so silly could be such an asshole.
I could.
Yeah.
None of it comes nothing comes as any surprise. The people that are in our government don't come as any surprise. Donald Trump comes as no surprise. These are people that are damaged, unrealized, and you just go, just please don't ever let them come back in again and take away our reproductive rights.
Yeah. Motherfuckers.
Along with a million other damn things.
What can we take one?
I want to say thank you for the joy that you shared with all of us. It was really wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
But when you said that comedy, stand-up is art, I never thought about it this way. And it was, I guess, liberating and interesting thought. But I thought if this is art, which I agree it is, and if what you make is art, do you ever think of the art that you have done as something that you're proud the most? Or it's like, I just think Van Gogh probably thought that, I'm glad I, made this painting, or, Starry Night, I'm proud of it. Is this something in your career that you consider as a masterpiece or not a masterpiece, but something?
It is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece.
Oh, thanks. There are bits I have, jokes I've written that are my favorite jokes that I'm like, oh my God. Don't you have that?
Of course.
Yeah. I think my Anne Frank joke is one of my favorite jokes. I don't know if you... No, I used to do a joke about how I went to the Anne Frank house and when I was in Amsterdam, and I didn't expect to get so emotional, and that these people lived in the smallest space for 2.5 years. They couldn't make any noise all day for fear of being caught by the Nazis, which would have been the demise of my entire family, because there's no way my mother would have kept her mouth shut for the entire afternoon. Judith, I asked you to wash that dish 10 minutes ago. Shut up, we're going to get caught. That's right, and they're here, and we're all going to die because you couldn't wash a goddamn dish. And that was my favorite joke. And it was about my mother, but people would be like, you got that Frank joke. Whatever. That's my favorite joke, I think. Do you have a favorite joke?
They're more like pieces. We'll be here to next Shavuos.
All right. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you.
Honey, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold, which is produced by Laura Vogel. It is edited by Colin Schmaling, and it is also produced and also everything else by Brittany Jo Sowards. Richmond. There you go. I really am I just want to say, I'm going to just read some things to you that have people came up to me after the show. They're like, I love your podcast. I love when you just talk, which makes me so happy, because this is what I'd like to do. I'd like to do some interviews, but I'd also like to talk about all the shit that I think we need to talk about. And so I'm gonna do a combination of both. And I'm so glad. Let me just see. I took pictures of some of the comments I got. And I just want to say thank you all so much. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Here's one. Oh no, oh God, I have to tell you something. Oh my God, I have to tell you something. Okay, Ched, Officer Casserole, thank you. Judy Solo was the absolute best. This is what I love to hear. Someone going off about stuff that other people think I'm crazy for talking about. More of it, please. It was fucking awesome. Thank you, Ched, and your dog's very cute. Okay. Listen to this. Brooke Keaton, I love you. Brooke Keaton. More Just You. I love the Beethoven story. Thank you. I love you. I love you. Sandy D at D Harma 53. I loved your recent podcast with Just You. Go for it. Let's see. Here's another one. Judy Gold. Lisa Minor. Lisaminor. I like your new podcast format. You are wonderful. Thank you, Lisa Minor. Thank you, Lisa Minor. I'm just, I just love it. I have more. Let's see. Just finished today's podcast. Wanted to throw out that I think the new format will be wonderful. Madison Fullman. Thank you, Madison Fullman. I'm doing shout outs. Emily Charon. I love you. Your podcast is so fabulous. Please keep going. Please don't stop. Thank you. Lisa Donna Rumma. Hey, just listen to the podcast. I love your new format. I love listening to you and your opinion. You speak for so many of us. I fucking love all of you. Thank you for writing. Thank you. So, all right, before we go, I just want to tell you that, so my upstairs, I don't even know why I'm whispering right now. So the upstairs neighbors, right? I should have said this in the beginning. I hope you're listening to the end. Okay. So the upstairs neighbors are really loud. Like they have a dog that runs up and down the hallway. They seem to like walk around the apartment. Like when I'm in my apartment, I'm not walking around the apartment or just constantly moving. And the way the building is built, it's an old building pre-war. You can hear, if you don't have carpeting down, you can really hear it. And I have sent them text messages, like the most loving, thoughtful text messages. Hey, Happy New Year. I hope you're great. I just want to let you know, blah, blah, blah. And they just ignore me. So last night I got home. I did a matinee. It's 8:30 at night, and they're making so much fucking noise. I don't know if they were vacuuming. I don't know what, but it was a very loud noises. So I sent them there's this rule in New York that most people don't observe. It's called the 80% carpet rule. So that means that it's a requirement for tenants to cover at least 80% of their floors with carpets or rugs to help reduce noise. So I sent them that article, and they wrote done. And then they write, listen to this, ready? And for the record, we've never complained to you about your screams all night and piano playing. Okay, I work at night. What are you talking about, my screams all night? I have a CPAP machine. I'm not fucking screaming. I'm screaming right now, but it's like the afternoon. Like, what the fuck? Your screams all night. First of all, if you thought I was screaming all night, maybe you would come down to see if everything's okay. And my piano playing, go fuck yourself. I'm a good piano player, and I play during the day, and fuck you. I've lived here for 34 years, and no one's complained about my fucking piano playing, so fuck. Okay, I just had to get that out. Who writes that and then puts a wink? But can you write to me, whoever's listening, and tell me how you think I should respond? Because my neighbor Marjorie says, oh, just ignore it, Judy. But I kind of want to write, you know what? I've lived here for 34 years. You're fucking loud. Your dog runs up and down the hallway, and I'm entitled to play the fucking piano. If you have any really good comeback lines, because I'm too angry to write anything right now that's normal and really mean, but I really welcome your suggestions. I really do. I also want to say, as we say, Aziz and Pesach for all the Jews and all who celebrate and all who are going to Seders. I hope you have wonderful, wonderful Passovers. For all the Christians, except for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Paul Gozart and a few others, I just want to say Happy Easter. I hope it's a fun family time. And, and all those who are observing Ramadan, I hope you're doing great and feeling good. And, that's it. I miss my mother on Passover. I miss my father on Passover. It's very hard. The holidays are hard when you're an orphan. And it doesn't matter how old you are. So I'm thinking of all those people who can't be with their families. I love you. And I love all of you for listening. I really do. You're the best. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all your comments. Let me know any good comebacks for the fucking assholes. You know what I'm talking about. And as we always say, so long.